All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. We got the Nasdaq up 0.6% today after a pretty decent day yesterday. Nothing too crazy. Now we're finally overtaking a few highs, so that's good. This high, going to be this high hopefully. We got the beautiful Tilroy yesterday after its huge round trip. Looks like we're kind of in the middle of that at about 212. That'll probably close a lot lower. What's up, guys? Like I said, I'll probably start a little bit later. Not too many people here right around 6 a.m. So, well, we saw Tilroy go crazy yesterday. That's not new. That's yesterday. Entry point for what, Blay? Excuse me, guys. Let's check out some of those pre-market movers. Let's go ahead to my screen here. Okay. I, I will say it's interesting on a day like yesterday that Tilroy doesn't gap down like 30%. That's pretty interesting. That's all. That's a funny point right there. Any healthy stock? Well, the Nasdaq's looking pretty healthy right here. It's not looking horrible. Still above the 50-day moving average. I mean, nothing's bad. Home Depot's looking pretty good. There's your buy point on Home Depot if you zoom out. I mean, there's tons of stocks. There's always tons of stocks. The question is what you put your money to work in. JP Morgan yesterday looked really good, and then IBD had an article on it later yesterday, I saw. So it hasn't really broken out. This is the breakout point for JP Morgan, but the volume yesterday was pretty good. Looks like it was about 40% above average volume, which is kind of what you want to see. 11 to 15. Yeah, I guess that's about 40%, give or take. So there's quite a few healthy stocks in the market. You just kind of have to buy it. Let's get out of the 5 minute on this yet. On this one, and let's take a look at those ones that are moving. NBEV up at 547. That one's interesting. Don't know anything about them. Seriously, do I have a thing of mosquitoes living under my desk? I think I do. IDRA, OSN, MTL. Just going to breeze through these real quick. 8 minutes to the open. See, this is better. When I get here, people are chatting. That's a much nicer. CRBP, LCI, KEM, not great. KEM, GALT, GALT, that's weird. Fold a bill, BLDP. That was not too bad. BLDP up 459. It's at 4. So that's up a little bit. Probably a little extended to get involved at this point. Am I on BLDP? Yeah, I'm on BLDP. MLHR, CGen. That's not horrible. It's at 410. That's probably buyable on the open. Kind of like a little mini double bottom pattern. So there's your first low. You've undercut here, and volume wasn't very aggressive. So you've got a little trend line there at about 405 or something, 407. It's opening at 410. Now this looks like a pretty tiny stock. Yeah, it's a very tiny, very low float stock. 148,000 average shares. That's really low. That would constitute as a low float stock. But the float's getting better. Looks like it was 122. Okay, that's 148, so not much better. Over here it was 343 at its peak in terms of its volume. So there's quite a bit of accumulation right there. Looks like they kind of let it rest. Nothing really bad going on with this one. Don't know anything about it, but leave it there for a minute. Looking at that Riot trade again, Eli. It's back down here to that $4 level. And after Bitcoin's action yesterday, kind of going through the ringer there, I was thinking to myself, if we do bottom, again, another bit of a gamble, but if we do bottom, don't mind taking a couple 1,000% out of the market. And there's your Bitcoin chart. XRP, if you guys follow the power hours, I think a lot of you do. We talked about keeping that eye on XRP, and overnight looks like it popped up right there. So that's pretty cool. The big news on XRP is they're going to start their development or their launch of XRapid, which actually uses XRP, and you'll finally have a useful token as your third largest cryptocurrency. I'm not saying we care about it. I'm just saying it's down here in these lows again. So, you know, like I said, after Bitcoin's action last night, it's possible that we, you know, maybe we bottomed, maybe we haven't. But anyway, just noting it again since it's here. Well, the whole thesis behind the Riot trade, Riot blockchain actually is a miner, and they do some other stuff around blockchain as well. So when Bitcoin price goes up, these guys go up. This was one of those big pumps from July. I'm sitting on the 15-minute like a retard. So your big July pump was here. You know, Bitcoin went up like, was it 50% or something? If you go ultimate low, ultimate high, 46%. And Riot blockchain went up 96%. So basically doubled what Bitcoin did. Anyway, we bought, I think, Eli, didn't you buy your option like the day before it popped up like that? That's kind of when we discussed that trade. And then it started popping up. Pretty funny how that works sometimes. Better to be lucky than good. I did not think Bitcoin was done going down. I didn't think it was going to pop like that. I'll say that for sure. All right, we got 3 minutes left to the open. And we've already gone through our list there, so most of that work's done. Let's check out investors.com, see what the headlines are. Stock futures gain strength. Yes, they do. Darden beat on strong Olive Garden comps. Seeing all mostly bullish signs. Herbalife. What? We're not going to talk about Herbalife again, are we? There's a moving average. Or is that a trend line? That's a trend line. That's an old trend line. Wow. New skin on Stock Spotlight. USNA. I haven't read the article. I'm just pulling up the stocks. Wow. MED. Huge pullback to the 50-day. Look at that volume. That is tremendous. But look at that. Never crossed the 50-day yet. So that could be a good buy point right there on MED, which has been the number one rated in that industry group, whatever it is. And NHTC. Netflix Jones 22 stocks expecting greater than 50% growth. That's cool. Oh, this is a great list, guys. Here you go, guys. Keep this article. Go ahead and look at that later. Market's going to open here in a minute. ZSL. Looks pretty good. Very low float though. 15,000 average shares traded. That's a recipe for like a 20% gap down. Usually. Doesn't do it all the time, but all right, let's take a look at these that I just gave you that list for. Stocks expecting 50% or higher Q3 earnings growth. There's actually Some good ones on here, obviously. SendGrid, Fortnite, Burlington Coat Factory. All right, market's going to open. All right, so MJ's starting the day up 3%. Probably with some of these marijuana stocks, obviously, popping on the open. We've got OGMRF and Cron, which just disappeared. Where'd they go? They were right here. And then they both left at the same time. There's Tilroy, barely up. Okay, so Tilroy is marked. You'll see it jump around right there. So an MJ up 4%. I think this is a pretty good play, to be honest with you. If Tilroy's going nuts, instead of picking individual names, I think MJ could be a good play here. You're kind of getting broader market exposure to the marijuana market. So if one runs and the other doesn't, you still get a piece of it. So I think that could be pretty good right there. And the way a lot of these stocks are reacting, I mean, Tilroy can break down at any time, but it doesn't have to. This is a very fledgling industry. I mean, I did not, we saw it here. It traded most of the day lower below the open, and then it rocketed higher to 300, and then rocketed down to negative, then came all the way back up to almost break even. My hash mark is where I noticed it pre-market. So we'll see what happens. Tactically, it should break down, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to be one of those outliers that just has extreme buying pressure in it. We'll see. There's a lot of other marijuana stocks as well that are having just tremendous moves. So Mark Tilroy worth $21 billion, I think, is obviously extended. Its price to sales is $779, which is like Amazon. Keep in mind they maintained those high levels for years. Doesn't mean Tilroy will for years. I don't think it will, as a matter of fact. Apparently it popped because the CEO said that stocks could be a $100 billion market. And, what do you invest in a $100 billion market when you only have like 5 stocks? They just jump up, which is kind of what you've been seeing. And it hasn't been a brand new phenomenon. We've seen, Cron was going up huge. A lot of these were going up huge. So I'm playing this ETF, and I think that's the way to play it. Speaking of which, Cron up 7%. Tilroy up, popping around up here. But, Cron doesn't look overextended. The ETF, just breaking out of highs. You've got this extreme volume here, this nice volume coming up here. This is nice, healthy volume. And just breaking out of that isn't anything crazy. So, but yeah, expect definitely some profit and some shorts to get very interested in Tilroy. Specifically, I'm not sure about the MJ name. This looks normal to me, to be honest with you. This looks okay. This is obviously very extended. I would not get involved in this. Yesterday I talked about selling puts at 300 puts for like $30, which is crazy. And I still think you can probably do that, but I like going along the MJ name personally. This is a lot of risk up here, guys. Like, come on, we talked yesterday here, let's say about 4 days ago now, about Tilroy someday having a huge gap down. Instead, it had a huge gap up. So very volatile. Even the normal rules in this aren't working. So I would just stay away. Don't kind of get caught up by the shiny penny. Maybe find an alternative way to play it. I like this as an alternative. Does earnings growth always translate into positive price action? Not always, but it does give you a big edge. A lot of the institutions hunt for growth. They look for it. They love it. They live it. And so they will look for it. And like I said, it doesn't always translate, but you have a much better chance of having a better, longer, more safer run in a stock with huge earnings than you do in a stock with no earnings. So let's check out what we got. We got Tilroy, Cron, all 3 marijuana stocks on my list at the top. Manitowoc actually doing pretty good right here. Looks like it's coming up to that trend line, already very slightly through it. Volume's okay on the right side, accelerating slightly. That could be good for Manitowoc. They rent cranes and stuff. CHK, which is a natural gas play, Chesapeake Energy. Larger one, been around for a very long time. Hasn't really gotten moving here over the past couple of years. I've been hawking this one for a long time. Like it's just down so far, and the volume was pretty good, and it's just failing to go lower. So there's the whole low area. We have this, we had this rally here, and then that was undercut. So it's just been just been on my watch list forever. It's just like, look, this is a good green volume right here, and then it just stopped and went lower. So now I don't know what natural gas prices are doing. I probably should. So I got FinViz on my other screen. I'm going to go to the futures market if you guys want to follow. Go to energy. You got natural gas chart, 290. So it's also making kind of a wedge pattern between $3 and $2.80. Right there, kind of have a bit of a wedge with lower highs and higher lows. Eventually, this thing will probably pop, and more than likely to the upside. I don't see. Sorry, I don't see a huge glutton in natural gas. Sorry about that, guys. It may not be a huge glutton in natural gas, but you gotta look at stuff and see what's what there. Looks like that's gone down. New has come back up, but New's been tanking. Recent IPOs you can see right there. I don't know why I clicked weekly again. That's just a crazy sell-off. Torch, Micron undercut the 200-day. This is an avoid. ADXS. Here popping again a little bit. Had a pretty good day yesterday. BWA, look at that good volume on the right side of the chart there. Good accumulation, good volume, good bottom volume there. And then a third day up, and we're breaking some horizontal levels here, guys. Barely, but doing it. I don't know much about this one, to be honest with you, but we could know about it if we go and do some research. Okay, let's go learn about it. BWA, doing this on FinViz because it's what I've got. Consumer goods, auto parts. So auto parts, 9 billion market cap. 512 EPS this year. Wow, they must have really horrible earnings last year. Quarter over quarter, 29%, which is pretty good. Not bad if you're looking for a turnaround. That volume has to grab your attention. How's InBev? It looks like it's just marching, slowly marching. 24 to 30, that's not too bad. It's doing okay. Not my favorite. SIVB up 3%. Are you going to run SIVB? Finally, you're about to hit my alarm. Let me go look at my options. See if it's worth getting in. Where's my target? It's up here at $393. $392, I think is what I did it at. All right. See if you get some volume. URI? URI, didn't you already get URI? URI looks like it's been a buy. Broke my trend line there as I didn't do anything about it. Of course, I've got like 80 stocks that I watch, so can't be in all of them. SIVB, okay, we've got it up here. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like right now. And okay, there's our volume yesterday. Was pretty good. Volume here today, not so hot, but maybe that'll change. SIVB. Not horrible right there. Oh, bull flag breakout? I guess, yeah, I'd much rather if you held that position. You get these things at good prices. Like EC was a good example. I don't want to hawk you on it, but you know, you sold it at a breakout point, and it just blew through it the rest of the day. Um, I don't know if you had one in that one again, but you know, need to be a little bit more patient with these, and you'll do fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a mini bull flag, yes, but the volume's okay. I mean, EC was a classic breakout on that day. I don't know where you sold UR. I did have a couple of shakeout days here, but you know, if your plans to take profits and it's working, then I'm not gonna. That's why I haven't been harping on it. You've been taking profits, so that's good. That's good. But you know, trying to recognize those ones that are moving best um, is a healthy thing to do. Ah! SIVB just shy of my target. I've got 392, like I said. That's great. That's perfect. Yeah, showing a little bit of distribution here. I'm less comfortable reloading here. Doesn't mean it's not going to work. I mean, the price is trending higher, so that is good. Um, SIVB looks pretty good to our target. We're at about 182% on SIVB. Now, this is not the breakout point. Technically, a breakout point would be up here, but like 33.84. But a good early indicator is good. Not sure that's quite a pocket pivot. Okay, yeah, that is a pocket pivot right there. That last bar giving you a pretty clear signal today. SIVB. All right, let's go back through the list. We got Manitowoc topping. Got MJ stocks coming in a little bit. Ooh, an MJ undercutting, I should say here, overtaking MJ slightly. SIVBE. SIVB looking really good. BE doing okay. MEDP, big pullback to the 50-day. That could be a buy point right there. Pretty scary though. But there's a bit of accumulation. It's not technically a buy, but yeah, StockShed's 182 on a January 350. I've got it in there. It's in the watch list. New Mew. There's Weibo. We've had this trend line drawn on Weibo. I've got an alert level above this. You got this 50-day just hawking it, giving it downside pressure. Has tested it many times. A big cross of the 50-day could be good for Weibo. I think they're a Chinese social media platform, if I'm not mistaken. Future Fuel. Big crazy day yesterday, too. What's Tesla doing? Let's check out Tesla for fun. Doing okay. 305. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That's what that is. Look at this thing, man. Whee! Yeah, that's hard to swing. I already talked about Baba possibly getting back into the channel here. Maybe, maybe not. NASDAQ up 0.75%, doing pretty good. So nothing too crazy today. Let's go through my stocks here. We got MJ here, which is doing good. SIVB still haven't given me my alert, but probably will very shortly. Domino's Pizza. FFIV doing pretty good, up 1%. Not mad at that. IQ still maintaining these lows. Hasn't really moved yet, but just maintaining, which is healthy. That's all you can ask. Garmin. Wow, Garmin poking higher. That's great. MEDP was one of those leaders. I don't know why I have this on my list anymore, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to remove it. I'm trying to keep this thing lean. Trim and lean. CRM. Also one I'm really not going to be involved in too much. Fizz up 0.51%. How did it end up yesterday? Actually ended up with a slight negative tick, but volume was declining again. So that's good. Still above that 50-day. That's good as well. Cisco, not mad at Cisco. Not moving a whole lot, but there's no major volume on this breakout. I had one high volume candle right there, and that wasn't even the breakout candle. So I don't know. I'm kind of shaking my head on Cisco. Whether I don't know what I want to do with it there. Shutterstock looks like pulling in after that. Not looking so great anymore. There's other stocks moving better. FFIV looking really good. Cores looking, did we go through Cores? We did not go through Cores. Cores at coming up to a potential next buy point on the break of this trend line here at about 74.50. That could be your breakout point. If it breaks any lower, I'm probably going to get rid of it. Where are we at? Cisco, UVE. UVE holding up very high, very similar to SIVB, but not breaking out yet. Workday pulling all the way back down. I don't know if I'm interested in Workday so much anymore. It was looking very good, and then subsequently breaking down. How much did it go up? This is going to be a flat base. Basically a flat base. Only went up 11% and then pulled back. Could be forming a base on base pattern. I mean, the volume isn't super strong here in terms of the sell side, so Control 4 doing okay. Still underneath the buy point. Failed breakout. Good volume though. See if it can do it again. Home Depot popped up a little bit yesterday, not a tremendous amount, and today it's just kind of hanging out. Don't know if it's got enough support to get going or not. FIVN rolling over. Looks like quite a few from that breakout bunch are breaking down. Match holding strong so far up here. Hopefully it can keep holding on. Funko down quite a bit. WHD after yesterday's looks like a failed breakout attempt on WHD. Again, volume not very heavy. Pulling in. Alec asking about AMC. I like their movies. They make good movies. It's doing okay. Your buy point was down here about 18.15, so you're up 15% from that. A little extended to get involved. I don't know what the earnings situation is like with AMC. We can check it out on FinViz real quick. If you guys notice, I'm going to FinViz now. It's because I'm lazy. IBD gives you some better information, but you can get 80% of it on FinViz. EPS next year, 300%. So they're liking something. Quarter over quarter, 112%. That's what they're liking right there. That's some big earnings. Don't know what they're doing differently. I know they, at least in my neighborhood, they kind of changed their format slightly. I guess it's working out for them from the profitability standpoint. So it could keep going there. But like I said, your buy point 15% lower. Maybe wait for another base to form on AMC. But yeah, not bad. I'm actually going to add it to my watch list. If they found a new way to monetize movie, that could be the new thing that people are looking for when they're investing in these. Wow, gross margin is 63%. They trim up some fat. They could be good. Their operating margin is only 5%, so there's something lost in translation there. But not bad, guys. Not bad. All right, pot stocks back at the top. Still not breaking down. MJ up 5%. So if you want to make your own ETF between Tilroy and Cron, looks like those are the two leaders, at least that I have on my watch list. I'm not really sure how much else is out there. But market looking good. TQQQ looking good, or I should say QQQ, the NASDAQ looking good. Popping up higher there. My kids are enjoying that. Oh, gotcha, Alec. That's cool. Kron. I don't really have a target. I don't. Everyone asks for targets. I really don't do targets. I just kind of do price action. Um, to be honest with you, I mean, I kind of look for topping signals and I try to let it go as long as I can. You know, you look for topping signals. You let the market tell you what to do. You don't necessarily have a target, and I don't necessarily have targets on many of my trades. I really let the price action determine what I do because whatever I think here, I have no information on what's going to happen up here. It's black up here. You know, this is all. There's green and red over here. There's black over here. You have no idea. So I really try to let the price action determine what I'm going to do with these stocks. Well, you can do measure move pretty easy. I usually take the breakout point, you know, as such, and try to rally it like that. In stocks, you usually go from the breakout point to the breakout point. In crypto, I do it here, but I guess that would take you to $20, right there. I don't think this is a measured move scenario, though. To be honest with you, I mean it could be, but it just doesn't look like it. Usually, a measured move is a nice move, a nice pause, and then a nice continuation. This isn't like a nice pause. This is very aggressive volume. This is kind of extraordinary action more than normal or ordinary action. For measured moves to work really well, you kind of want measured price action to go along with it, I guess, is kind of a good way to put it. But I think a lot of these marijuana stocks it's so early in the game, you're seeing some early accumulation and obviously some distribution here too. These are probably short sellers. Like, I don't know what the short interest is. Let me go to TLRY. Actually was watching a trading video the other day from some guy, and it was posted like last week, and he was shorting TLRY, and I was intrigued. I'm like, wow, they posted this video like right after they shot it, and he was shorting it, talking about 103, and I'm like, wow, we're at 200, and I think it was pretty funny. You know, you just kind of trade your rules, right? And that guy, he said, yeah, if it goes up, I'll take my stop and take my lumps, but next one. And he was talking about short float. And so the last time, okay, so the short float on FinViz, if you guys don't know where to find it, you can go to the individual stock and short float right there. 59 million shares of 100 million shares outstanding was short float. So this could have been a huge short covering rally because I think everyone thought it was going to fail these three candles. I think what they failed to realize is that, I think this is a very early, I think this is a very early industry play, and TLRY is a symptom of, I think everyone, you have very few options to play. So, yeah, kind of like that, Eli. I don't think you short the bubble now. I think, like, if you look at the ETF, this isn't a bubble play. This is a recent breakout. If you look at this ETF. So I'm not saying Tilroy won't have its day. Like I said yesterday, it's due a reckoning. And this is kind of like Bitcoin. Remember at Bitcoin, you guys, we weren't really chatting then, but at Bitcoin, what was it, 11,500? I thought we topped because we had a candle very similar to this candle. I mean, this is much bigger, but let me go ahead and eat some crow a little bit here. So I thought that was our topping candle. I was probably too zoomed into the charts, but like I said, no one, me and Node were talking a bunch back here. he and I both thought, both thought this was the top. And then later in the day, we were both proven wrong as it continued higher. So I'm not saying Tilroy is going to happen exactly like this. This is Tilroy's candle was much more aggressive than this candle, but even the best of us can be wrong a lot. And I don't think that. I think Tilroy is going to have its larger down day. Apparently, it just wasn't yesterday. Apparently, he doesn't think it's today. Yeah, I think there's general early accumulation in here. Now, there's definitely traders fighting in here. I mean, that's a given. There's just traders all over these things. But you also have institutions still trying to accumulate positions. And I think sometimes as a trader you can, and that's what was weird about yesterday's action. Like, it did not behave, at least to me. And I wasn't watching a 5-minute chart. So let's go ahead and revisit yesterday. I wasn't watching this chart, but this is some clinical sell action. But that volume is not very aggressive on the sell side. It's just not. And they kind of let it go lower, and then they bought it again on higher volume. I mean, it's just amazing what these marijuana stocks are doing. I think Tilroy is just a symptom of the hype. At the same time, I still think these things have much more room to go. I'm a little scared of the short-term ramifications of a day like yesterday on Tilroy, but past that, like you saw that Eli, that trade I pointed out to you yesterday, I mean, these things have huge potential in the next several years, So, not too many people, only 5 people watching. No, yeah, I don't think it's all hype either at all. I think it's an early industry group move. But like if you look at MJ, what I think is interesting here is we've got. So I'll show you stock shit. I wasn't gonna do this, but only 5 people here. I'm not gonna do too much harm. Maybe 50 people watching the video. Guys, if you do something like this, what I'm about to show you, this is extraordinarily risky. You can lose every single penny that you're gonna put into this. I just want to say that this is not financial advice. Go talk to a financial advisor, which will tell you not to do this. So here's my MJ trade, January 2021, and for a potential 558% gainer. So I don't care over what time frame, making 500% over the next 2.5 years. That's not bad. This right now is 440% potential gain, and that's if it goes to 100 in 2.5 years. It's at 43, so this thing only has to double basically for you to make a crap ton of money, and a break-even point is 56, and 56 is right here. You can see it easily on the chart. So in 2 years, if you think that the marijuana stocks are gonna go up cumulatively 25% or 30% to break even. There is the risk. The only risk in the marijuana stocks is the legislative risk. And what's going to happen in 18 months? You're going to have the Trump White House banning weed. They could do that. Get the stroke of a pen and tank all these stocks instantly. So, like I said, it's a much more risky maneuver than most. And this is the ETF. You know what I'm saying? This thing's already gone from basically 24 to 45, so it's not too bad. 48 strike is 9.3 right now. Oh, look at that, 6. So 50, I was looking at 50. 50, for some reason, has an exponentially larger price percentage gain than anything else, and I don't know why. And this is another reason why I took this trade yesterday, because all these are at 400, even these are at 400, a couple at low 5s. But why is this 50 at 635%? Beats me, but that's pretty dope. That's pretty good right there. Like, say this thing goes to 150. I mean, you're looking at stupid percentage gains. Let's say it goes to 75. You're still looking at 268%. So, I think for such a long time frame, 2021, 800 days of price action, you're kind of paying to play right there. I think that's pretty damn good. And if this thing, rallies up a little bit higher throughout the middle of next year, you're up here at $60 on this ETF. I think with no major problems. And keep in mind, guys, all you need in life, to be honest with you, is one really good idea. And maybe this is that good idea. There's a possibility. So, guys, do your homework, do your own risk management, see what you're willing to lose on a longer term trade. But I think that's one that's worth looking into for sure. If Tilray can hang up here for a few days, I think that would be amazing. All right, Nasdaq up 0.75% right now. Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I kind of like this, like the action better and better. So hopefully that will continue going. Home Depot down so slightly. Let's see what we got. SIVB still hasn't broken my trend line, or my alert level, excuse me. Stopped right on it. Look at that. 329.48, and the high is 329.45. Did I draw that right or what? That's pretty funny. Cron, Manitowoc, MUZS. I think really this is probably one of the better ones right now from a potential entry perspective. To be quite honest with you, we got Square here. What's Square doing? Maybe on a minor pullback. Nick, it's not really something that we're sharing. I'm very timid with my options trading. There's just so much inherent risk. Like, you want talk about getting wiped out in one trade because you're greedy? Welcome to options. One trade. I mean, like literally 15 minutes can kill you. It's very yeah, it's extremely risky. So I'm not going to be sharing that. Sorry, Bless says sorry on the delay. You mean the MJ? This is an ETF. This is an option on an ETF is what that was. So yeah, it's an option on an ETF is what it is. And they've got options on TQQQ. I mean, they've got freaking options all over the place. Yeah, maybe one day I'll do an options webinar or something. But I don't just want to put out tools that'll kill people. Fizz doing up 0.42, getting a little bit of support here. Man, doesn't look like it wants to move, does it? Match.com still resting up here. Nothing crazy, guys, going on today. Yesterday with Tilray was just ridiculous. I do not remember a day like that. Pretty much ever. I said that yesterday too. I'm like, I do not ever remember stock doing what this stock is doing right now. At least one that wasn't like a small pump and dump. So options are putting chips on black. They can be. Not all options are that way. I've had some last year. I had tremendous success with options, but that also came with a pretty well defined strategy and an edge that I found in the market. But I will say this: 95% of the time, it's like putting your chips on black. It's trying to find that 5%, that 5% of the time when it's not. And that's really what that tool is meant for. It's meant to find those I pass on a lot of good trades, for options because it just doesn't line up. What was one recently that just sucked? Like Eli, we were looking at it and it wasn't PKG, it was the other one. But like you look at PKG, which yeah, right now, wish I would have held that stupid position. PKG had some really healthy options going out to here, and there's another one that we were looking at that had a very similar chart pattern that the options were horrible on. Just the risk reward was not worth it. So, you know, you have to make sure that options are you have to make sure that I have a note here. You have to have there needs to be a benefit. I took that note down, but I don't know what that means. The risk reward needs to be extremely favorable. You have to pay the right price for the option, which most of them are not priced correctly, to Eli's point right there, the big premium. And you need to have a catalyst that not too many other people see. And that's the deal with options. You need to have all those three things correct, and all of those are fairly gray areas. Okay? They're fairly gray areas. So I'll just give you one of my more successful options trades as an example of what needs to line up. And keep in mind, I haven't found one like this since, to be honest with you. Not one near. This is Boeing. This is Boeing back here in September, about a year ago actually, just over a year ago. There's a beautiful little trend line here, and I had a different options tool back then, and my options for my target was up like 250% for a pretty muted target, and it went ahead and hit that and then some. But coming out of a very good price action, I mean, it was just beautiful. Volume was beautiful. Everything was beautiful on Boeing. And my target, for some reason, the options weren't pricing in. They weren't pricing that in, so the risk was definitely worth the reward, because the reward was 250+%. You know, but in a majority of cases, that's not what it is. In a majority of cases, your risk is not worth the reward, and so it's really trying to find that balance. But it's extraordinarily volatile, and I had a bellwether year last year. It was like 450%, and I pretty much solely traded options, and it just worked. I mean, you know, the market was gangbusters at the end of the year. I mean, it just worked for me last year. It hasn't done nearly as good for me this year. I'm actually net down slightly, but I'm hanging in there. I'm floating in there. But for whatever reason, either I'm not cued in on the right sectors, whatever it is. But you know, I've had a couple of my options really hand my ass. We've gone over Twitter on this channel several times, and that's really what did it. I mean, one bad trade and that Twitter just obliterated all my gains for the year, and I'm still trying to pay penance for that and get that back. I'm doing better now. I've got one up 75%, one up 76%, one up 100%. I got a couple that are under 5% negative, one that's 20% negative, and one that's 8% negative. So, you know, I'm doing good. I'm maintaining at this particular point in time, but haven't yet seen that big winner come to fruition yet in this market. And it's kind of been hard to get some of those that are moving higher. So it's very difficult. I'm not the expert in it by any stretch of the imagination. I had really good luck last year, and I'm trying to duplicate that luck. Speaking of which, Boeing looking pretty good here. Boeing looking pretty good here. So anyway, that's why I'm not sharing that, because it's very dangerous. It's just extremely dangerous. So anyway, guys, with that, I think I'm going to bail out of here. Got to go help my kids get ready for school. Start the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Hi, Christian. See you guys.